YouTube? What's going on? Woody P coming back with another one. Let's get it. We're going to talk some boxing. We got a big fight. Middleweight division. Leon Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2. The rematch. Yeah, this is the rematch. Leon Smith, beefy. Whooped Chris Eubank Jr. January, earlier this year. TKO, 4th round. Leon Smith, he kept the pressure on and he stopped Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr., he was talking a lot of mess before the fight. You know, the lead up to the fight, saying, I've never been hurt, never been knocked out. That was his first time, you know, being knocked out. But the second fight, no excuses for Chris Eubank Jr. No excuses for Chris Eubank Jr. He come in the fight 32-3. Some of his notable losses was to Liam Smith and Billy Joe Saunders, some of his notable losses. And Leon Smith, he come in the fight 33-1. Some of his notable losses was to Canelo Alvarez, and he lost to Jaime Munguia. But Leon Smith, he's really a 154-pounder. He moved up to 160 to whoop on Chris Eubank Jr. in that first fight. But this is the rematch. This is the rematch, and there's some key factors that I'll be looking at, you know, in this second fight, in the rematch, you know, take place Saturday. Leon Smith, he wants to make this a phone booth fight. He wants to keep the pressure on, and he wants to bring the fight to Chris Eubank Jr. Because Chris Eubank Jr. in the first fight, I did a reaction to that fight as well. Check that out. But Chris Eubank Jr. in that first fight, he boxed pretty well. I say the first 3 rounds, he was boxing well when he kept the distance. When he was able to keep his distance and work with the jab, Chris Eubank Jr., he fought well. He did. But he had a mental lapse. He got relaxed. He started dropping his hands. One thing I take from Chris Eubank Jr., he's in a conflict of styles at this point. You train with Roy Jones Jr. Now you got Eubank as your trainer. But Chris Eubank Jr. say it was his fault, you know, that he got relaxed in the ring. You know, it wasn't the trainer's fault or anything like that. So why are you switching trainers? That's my problem I have with Chris Eubank Jr. Why are you going from Roy Jones Jr. to Eubank, Terrence Crawford trainer, if there was no problem? That's my concern. Now you begin to have a conflict of styles. When you begin this, you start to have a conflict of styles. Chris Eubank Jr., he has to find a style and stick with it. He does. Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm going to be real. I'm not picking him in this fight. I'm picking Leon Smith. I'm picking beefy. I am. Because he know what he wants to do in the ring. He wants to keep that pressure on you, and he wants to phone booth fight with Chris Eubank Jr. He does. And I don't think Chris Eubank Jr., he doesn't know what style he wants to fight. And he got this pretty boy aura going on, like he don't want to get hit, like he don't want to get touched. I've been hearing some of the interviews leading up to the fight. Chris Eubank Jr., it's time to get muddy, time to get dirty, time to get down and dirty. You got to fight. I'm tired of this pretty boy aura you trying to carry around. You think you're better than what you are. You think you're better than what you are. But every time you step up, you know, to a solid opponent, you know, you can't get over that hurdle. You know, I'm a boxing fan. I call it right down the middle. You know, I call it right down the middle. These fighters don't pay me. But Chris Eubank Jr., yeah, it's time to get down and dirty. It is. Because Leon Smith, he's going to bring the fight. Beefy, he's going to bring the fight. He's going to bring the fight. He wants the phone booth fight, and he doesn't think you have the heart. He's going to test your heart again. He's going to bring the fight. He's going to try to stop Chris Eubank Jr. again. He is. Leon Smith, 35 years old. Chris Eubank Jr., 33 years old. So, you know, close in age. No excuses. No excuses. Leon Smith, like I say, he's a natural 54-pounder. He moved up to, you know, 160 and stopped Chris Eubank Jr. He did. He did. This is going to be a great fight because Chris Eubank Jr., he say, I have to win this fight. I have to, you know, to keep my career, you know, trending in the right direction. He has to win this fight. He does. It's pressure on him. Then you switching trainers. I don't like that. Especially if you felt like it was your fault. Be accountable. Don't be going switching trainers. Nah. I don't like that. I don't like that. Then he talking about you seen what Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence. Bo Mack is the right trainer. That has nothing to do with you, Chris Eubank Jr. That has nothing to do with you. You got to fight your own fight. Bo Mack don't make these fighters win. You know what I'm saying? But we got a big fight this Saturday, and I got beefy. He gonna bring the fight, and he wants to fight. He's not on this pretty boy shit, none of that. He wants to fight. And he know Chris Eubank is not really true to himself. Full of excuses. Full of excuses. So I look for Liam Smith, to handle his business in there. I do. And bring the fight. I don't know if he'll stop him quite as fast like he did in the 4th round, because Chris Eubank Jr., he did get relaxed because he was boxing, pretty well for those first 2-3 rounds. I will say that. But once it became a fumble fight and Liam Smith kept the pressure on, it changed the fight. It did. It changed the fight. Chris Eubank Jr. talk about an elbow, this or that. Come on with the excuses, man. You got to fight. You got to fight. It's going to be a big one. Both of these guys are orthodox. Liam Smith, 5'9", Chris Eubank Jr. 5'11". So Chris Eubank Jr., he's the bigger fighter in height and natural weight. If we're being real, he is. He's the bigger fighter. But Liam Smith seems to have the bigger heart. He does. He seems to have the bigger heart. But let me know what y'all think. Drop something down in the comments. Big fight Saturday. I can't wait. I come with the breakdown. I'll come with the reaction after the fight. I will, but I got beefy. Liam Smith. I got Liam Smith in this one in the second fight, the rematch. But let me know what y'all think. Drop something down in the comments. I can't stop. Comment, subscribe. That's what you help share the video. I'm going to keep the fire coming. Let's knock another one out. Let's get it.